I think investors might be curious as to the timing of all of this, and I wonder whether you think it came as a surprise to the market and was not at least well telegraphed.
There should be no surprise that President Donald J. Trump is taking a firm stand on border security. This particular measure, if you look at it from an investor's point of view and a corporate point of view, what we have in Mexico is the export, one of the high exports of illegal aliens. And it's a criminal enterprise. At any given day, there's 100,000 illegal immigrants transiting through the entire country of Mexico. They're transiting with the help of these transnational criminal organizations that are making billions of dollars off this trade. What we're asking the Mexican government to do is three things. One, most of this transit comes from Guatemala along the small 150-mile border. Numerous choke points. It would be very easy for the Mexicans to interdict there. Two, it would be very easy for the Mexicans to break up these transnational criminal organizations and this supply chain. And three, the Mexicans have promised to help us with asylum. They can keep the asylum seekers on their side of the border. The numbers that we're facing, Carl, here are staggering. This is a crisis. The statute being invoked here is the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. It requires two things. One, a national emergency. Clearly, we have that at the border. Two, it requires a threat to our economy, our foreign policy, or our national security. Clearly, yes, we have that as well. So if you just go down the checkpoints, national security, drugs flying over here, gang members, crime. If you look at the economy, we see illegal aliens flood into our cities and deprive people in those cities of good-paying jobs. So that's the big picture, and I would suggest to investors to look at this calmly. Look at what we're trying to do. This is actually a brilliant move by the president to get Mexico's attention, to get them to help us. Because so far they've just been standing by, and they really have the power to help us. The two institutions that have the power to help us are the Mexican government and the Congress. Congress has done nothing. The Mexican government can really help us here. That's what we're asking them to do.
Understood. If we agree that it's a legitimate use of the Powers Act and that there is a crisis at the border, how does tariffs and the potential to push Mexico into recession help them fight the problem any better?
So the use of IEPA here is basically what we're doing is using a regulatory method to address this threat, and tariffs are one such use of the threat. What's happening now is Mexico, by being a bystander in this criminal enterprise, is imposing enormous costs on the United States, on our welfare system, on our criminal justice system. I mean, we've got, look, Carl, this week, we had over 1,000 families and unaccompanied children come over in a single group. They walked over from Juarez, Mexico, into El Paso, Texas, as a single group. And we've got unprecedented numbers of children that are coming, cases of fraudulent use of children to gain entry. And so these things are devastating to the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, to our Customs and Border Protection, which do a great job at the border. We're being overwhelmed. These are real costs on the American nation that Mexico could easily take care of if it chose to act. So this is a very modest approach. I want investors, please understand, we're starting at 5%, doesn't kick in until June 10th. The Mexican government has plenty of time to begin to work with us on these measures. And this is an emergency that Donald Trump said he was going to fix during the campaign. 2.5 years in, this is going to be a smart way to do it.